Introduction. This year, Lenovo had the honor of unveiling Motorola's newest flagship offerings. These flagship offerings are the Moto Z, which aims to succeed the Moto X, and the Moto Z Force, which is a bigger and badder version of the Moto Z. The Moto Z Force is aimed at succeeding last year's Droid Turbo 2, exclusive to Verizon in the US, Moto X Force in worldwide markets. Both the Moto Z and Z Force are identical in height and width, and their thickness is the only way to tell the two apart. The other difference with the Moto Z Force is the significantly larger battery, the added girth that comes with a larger battery, a higher resolution 21MP camera, and a shatterproof screen that will survive drops of up to 5 feet onto flat surfaces. These specs make the Moto Z Force a worthy competitor to the recently reviewed Samsung Galaxy S7 Active. The Moto Z Force will remain as a Verizon exclusive model in the US and for now. As of this review, there are currently no plans to release the Moto Z Force outside of the US, making it like the Samsung Galaxy S7 Active, which remains as an AT&T exclusive and is not available anywhere else in the world. Key features: 5.5-inch AMOLED screen, QHD, 1440 by 2560, 535p Gorilla Glass. Water-resistant nano coating, splash-proof but not submersible. Qualcomm Snapdragon 820, dual-core 2.15 GHz Chiral and dual-core 1.6 GHz Chiral with Adrenal 530, 4 GB of RAM. 32 or 64 GB of internal storage, microSD expandable up to 2 TB. Android 6.0.1 Marshmallow with Moto enhancements, Moto Voice, Moto Display, and Moto Actions. 21MP camera, f/1.8 aperture, 1.12 micron pixels, OIS, laser autofocus, dual-tone LED flash. 1080p video at 30 or 60 fps, 4K at 30 fps. 5MP front-facing camera with wide-angle, front-facing LED flash. Fingerprint sensor. The Moto Z Force is a worthy competitor to the Samsung Galaxy S7 Active as they both play fine with water. Moto Z Force is splash-resistant only, they both offer shatterproof displays, and they both are touted as ultra-durable devices with large batteries. We've already reviewed the Moto Z, but the Moto Z Force is aimed at a slightly different consumer, but most of the power user. Paired with the US best, although most expensive, carrier, the Moto Z Force Droid also carries a $96 premium over the Moto Z Droid when purchasing from Verizon. The Moto Z Force takes on the Moto Z by offering a larger battery, higher resolution 21MP camera, and the aforementioned shatterproof display. We are curious to see if Lenovo has changed the recipe for creating their shatterproof display. The previous iteration of this screen, which we saw in the Droid Turbo 2 and Moto X Force, had diminished viewing angles, and the plastic-based display lens was more prone to light scratches. The Moto Z Force works with the same Moto mods as the Moto Z. Both it and the Moto Z Force have otherwise identical hardware on the exterior, except for the thickness. The Moto Z Force is 25% thicker than the razor-thin 5.2mm Moto Z, but it's still quite thin. Camera performance with the Moto Z was decent, and we are expecting the 21MP camera found in the Moto Z Force to be even better. Follow us on to the next page to see what's inside the Moto Z Force's retail package. The Moto Z Force Droid Edition comes in a standard box, quite similar to the Moto Z's packaging. Much like the phones themselves, the Moto Z Force's box is a bit thicker. Also, the Z Force's packaging says Force on it. Here we see Lenovo's logo on the front of the box. It's safe to say we'll be seeing it on all Moto devices from now on. Slide the box out of the packaging sleeve and you can lift the top half up, and we are greeted by the Moto Z Force. Under the smartphone itself we find the SIM tray tool, the 30-watt turbocharger, the 3.5mm audio jack to USB-C adapter. There is also a rubber-esque holder for your wired headphones so that you can wrap your earbuds in to prevent them from getting tangled in it.